Alright guys, another quick update on what I've done with the watering system. I think the last update I gave you was that I had the beds all done and rigged up and had the timer figured out. The problem that I had though was I wanted to build in a few accessories, and I also needed some filtration in the system because my little sprayer heads were plugging up right away with leaf debris and dirt that comes in off the gutters. The other issue that I had was this #1 valve here leaks. So even when it's not even supposed to be open, it still leaks. And I don't know why. I don't know if the bladder in there is dry or why it's not sealing up. But so what I did with it for right now was I just took and put a 3/4 inch cap there at the bottom. And later I'll come back and cut off and then put a coupler on there to run that line out to the fence. But for right now, that keeps it from leaking by so I can hold pressure on the system. For the filtration, I got this simple canister filter here from Home Depot. I think it was $20 for the canister and $7 for the filters, for 2 filters. It's not real high tech. It's it's a pretty simple filter, but it's good because it's going to filter out well below the needs of my sprinkler heads. I wanted to have something that could filter out down below 200 microns because that is the size of the tiny mister heads that I have. So I want to make sure I could cope with those. The actual sprinkler heads in the gardens are much bigger than 200 microns, but for the fogger heads that I have, it was 200 microns. So this should be able to handle that no problem. It's just a cloth filter. But the way I've plumbed it in, you see, is my water lines are going to come in from over here, and I'll have this valve closed most of the time. That's just a bypass option should I ever need it, so I put it in there. And this valve will be open, so the water will run through here, come around the back side, and go into the canister filter, and then it'll come out. And again, this one's closed, so it'll come out and it'll go down into the ground and run over and come up there for my watering system. So now I've got some good filtration because the first day I tested it, right away plugged up 90% of my sprinkler heads, so that wasn't any fun. I had to go through and clean all those out. And then for another bonus feature, I just put this valve on here with a hose connection, and that is so I can backfill through that if I want to fill the totes, or I can fill through the top of them by taking the cap off, or I can just use it. I'll just attach a short 3-foot hose to it. That way I can fill up buckets and watering cans still. And it's out of the way of my compost bin. I can still get in there. Obviously, everything's open and clear, so I've got bucket fill, filtration, and I've got the cap on. So that's the new stuff for today. I'm really looking forward to the next major renovation part of it. Now that I've got all this sealed up and it should work fine, I'm going to go ahead and set the mister to be automated, or the sprinkler system, sorry, automated. I do need to hook in my rain sensor. Might work on doing my rain sensor right now if I can real quick while the kid stays asleep. But get the rain sensor hooked up because it has been rainy lately, so I don't want to be wasting water. And yeah, then the next big addition will be getting this tank up off the ground and getting it replaced with the 55-gallon drum. So I'll build a third compost bin that'll sit over here, and that tote will go up top, so I'll have 3 totes up top, and then I'll have a 55-gallon barrel over here that the gutters run into. I'll put the sump pump inside of it. So when I get all that done, it'll be, at least I think, interesting and exciting. So I'll probably make another video then for sure to show you guys how all that's rigged up together. And then for the final step, I need to put my splice over here where I'll tie in with city water, put a check valve and a ball valve, and that way whenever if I ever go off on vacation or whatever and I'm worried about the rain barrels running dry, I'll shut that valve there coming from the rain barrels. I'll turn off my pump so that it can't kick on if it wanted to, and I'll let the system just run off of city water pressure. So anyway, that's it for now. Hope you all like it. See you. Well, after I made that last little video, I decided I'd go ahead and install the rain sensor. It's super duper easy. This thing's awesome. And looking over the box, I actually realized it's a rain and freeze sensor, which I didn't realize that when I got it, but I think it was about 20 bucks. The rain feature on it actually has a setting where you can adjust it anywhere from 1/8 to 1 inch. So it's just 1/8, 1/4, 1/2, 3/4, I think, in an inch. So you can set it for how you want it to interrupt. So based on the theory of, your good garden should get at least an inch of rain a week, I went ahead and set it to 1 inch. That way it won't interrupt. It won't interrupt the sprinkler system unless we get 1 inch of rain. And when it does, it'll interrupt it as long as it takes for it to dry back out. It has little vents on the side, which I didn't really look at or figure out, but it has vents on the side to let it dry out. And it's supposed to dry out at the same rate as your garden or your yard or whatever would, which, given that I mounted my sensor, within 10 feet of the garden, it should experience the same climate. But anyway, then the freeze sensor side of it is it has a thermometer in there as well, that if the temperature falls below 37 degrees, it interrupts your watering. And that'll keep you from, icing your driveway or your lawn, or in my case, icing my garden. So, a little added bonus, but it comes with the hardware that it clips on to. It can clip on your gutter, or it has a base plate so you can, screw it into the board, which is what I did. I just screwed it in right there. It might be, the perception might be hard for you guys to see, but it actually does, it stands taller than the roof line, so I'm not going to have to worry about water running off the edge of the roof and, filling it up artificially. So, it just hangs out there over the gutter, and the wire run down. It comes with something like 25 feet of wire on it, which I left it all on there for right now. I want to make sure that it works with the sensor in this location before I cut it off. But once I prove that everything works fine, I'll go ahead and cut that wire off so I have a big bundle of wire hanging there. But that's it for now. I just figured I'd tack this on to the end of the other video because I mentioned the rain sensor in the last video, so there it is.